everybody. Welcome back. We're doing another episode of The Exchange, a podcast where I talk to people I find interesting or want to get to know a little better. And this week I've got somebody that I've wanted to talk to and get to know for actually quite a while. So it works great. Please welcome the one and only Katie Runyon.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Anytime. We've been trying to get this together for a while, and life is life, so it just gets hectic and it's hard to put things together. They don't tell you when you're young that it's so difficult to get together with people.
Oh, it's actually the most ridiculous thing. I was just talking to someone about it the other day, about how you turn into adulthood and it's like, oh crap, I have so many responsibilities that I have to go to the grocery store now.
Yeah.
I have to wash my clothes. Oh wait, I have a boyfriend, so I gotta hang out with him too.
Yep.
Like there's so many things that you don't even realize until you're an adult.
It's crazy. We were sitting here the other night. We had just finished dinner. We were just kind of watching TV, and I paused the show and I looked over and I was like, we are the adults that when we were kids, we would look at people in their 20s and 30s and say, like, those are grown-ups. Oh. They have responsibilities. That'll be us one day. And now it's here. We're doing the adult thing. We work all day. We live for the weekend.
Yep.
We're there, and it's so weird.
I know it. It really is. And I'm only 27. I think you're the same age.
27.
Right? Yeah, 27. It's like, okay, hold on. I thought I was supposed to be like a little further down the road before all this came about, but it is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy just how much time flies. And like when they tell you in high school to like soak it up, that life is going to go by like that, they're not kidding. Not kidding at all.
Not at all.
So what we were saying before we hit record, this is great because I feel like have been like dancing around each other's lives for the past few years just because we have a ton of mutual friends and we've just never crossed paths.
Yep.
So first of all, how would you describe yourself? How would you give yourself an intro if you were told to do so?
Ooh, that's a hard one. I don't know. I'm just probably the most easygoing, relaxed person you could ever meet. I love to have fun. All of my friends could tell you that from the very start. Love to have fun, but I always have a serious side of me where when it comes to business, that's my serious side. But other than that, I love life and I love to enjoy life and get to know people and, just enjoy each other and see the world around me. And like, that's something that I didn't do growing up. It's going outside and enjoying nature and getting out and meeting new people. It's like, we're always stuck inside this closed space where we're on our phones and we're doing, watching TV or watching videos. It's like, no, you got to get out and go and do things and meet new people. So that's just me, is like I love going out and meeting new people. I'm relaxed. I love to hang out, but I can tell you right now, I don't do well with sitting for a movie.
No?
I do not. I actually have a very hard time watching movies. I do not go to movie theaters because of that. So it is definitely a flaw of mine. Because it's that antsiness. It's like I always have to be doing something. Yeah. It's so frustrating sometimes because it's like, oh my gosh, Katie, just chill. Yeah. But, what can you do?
I don't know. You're so right. I've been trying to make a conscious effort lately to do something that doesn't involve using a screen of some kind. Do you ever feel like we just transition throughout the day from screen to screen to screen? You wake up, you might play on your phone a little bit to get your day started, to like wake up your brain, and then you might get ready for work, and then you sit down in front of a computer for, a lot of people 8 hours or so, and then you get up and you go home, you might eat dinner, spend time with your family, and then you might watch TV and you play video games, or you do something that involves a screen, and it feels like we're just going from screen to screen to screen.
Oh yeah.
And it never ends.
It never ends. And honestly, it's really sad to see too, because I think when we see kids nowadays, you go to restaurants and stuff and all they're doing is sitting on an iPad.
That depresses me when you see a family dinner and mom and dad and even the kids are just
and no conversations.
None.
But that's where the sad part about life comes in right now, is that we're so focused on what's going on in other people's lives, but we're not focused on what's going on in our life and our family lives. Like, it blows my mind how it changed. Like, social media has just changed everything. It's crazy.
It's social media, and it's also just that instant, like, gratification that social media, and just not even social media, just being able to look up the answer to any question at any time is just, it's made people less patient with each other, I think.
Yeah.
And so when someone's not given that instant, like, yes, or just the answer to their question, it almost like rattles you or makes you upset. Like, sometimes when I'm driving and, you're driving in an area like Kennesaw, big example. Kennesaw is like a dead zone for cell phone service. I don't know why. But Barrett Parkway, if you're trying to map to get GPS to anywhere on Barrett Parkway, give up. It's not going to happen because the service is so bad over there. But I'll find myself like saying to myself, like, God, what is taking so long?
Yes.
And it's like, think about what you're complaining about right now.
Yep.
Have you ever heard the comedian Louis C.K.? He has this skit where he talks about people who complain about the Wi-Fi speed on airplanes.
Oh my gosh.
And he's like, people, take a second and think about what you're complaining about right now.
Right.
You're pissed that you can't check your email 40,000 feet in the air.
Yep. Because we always have to have it.
You
always.
Do. And
it's crazy.
I know we're sitting here talking about it, but I complain about it. I'm part of the problem.
Yeah, I do it all the time. And that's the thing, is like, I try to be more aware, especially at this age. It's like you start realizing, there's a lot more to life than just being on the phone and playing games and doing whatever. It's like, no, you have to get out and do other things. But I still find myself in a rut too. It's constantly just, I know this person was supposed to have this happen today. Like, let me check to see how it went, or whatever it may be. It's, or a football game's on. Like, I got to watch my football. Got to watch the football. So that will never go away.
Yeah.
But
who's your team?
Florida Gators.
Gators?
And I know.
Really?
I know.
I'm glad Catherine's upstairs now because she'd shun you. She's a Bulldogs girl.
Oh.
So by default, I am too.
I mean, fair enough. But I love the Falcons. I would say I love the Falcons more than...
You're a loyal fan.
I am a loyal fan to the Falcons.
You have hope every single Sunday morning thinking, today's the day.
This year I'm really going into the season, and I just have this is something I've learned about life recently, is go into things without expectations.
100%.
Go in with no expectations, and then it's not looking at it from like a negative standpoint or anything like that. It's just, if it goes great, it goes great. If it goes bad, shit happens.
I've been doing that so much lately, and it's made every experience, every hanging out with friends, any movie I might watch, I just have a better experience because I'm like, this is probably, or like most of the time when I see a movie, I'm like, this is going to be shit.
Right.
It's going to be horrible.
Yeah.
And then I walk out and I'm like, this is great. And then I look at reviews online and people are like, that movie was horrible. And I'm like, I didn't expect anything.
Yeah.
And I had a good time. So,
absolutely.
And it's like that with a lot of things.
It is. And I think we focus so much on what other people do too. Like, even I was thinking about this the other day with my business, marketing things. The first thing I do when I think about something, I'm like, okay, let me go to Pinterest and come up with ideas. Nope. I started this new thing where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to think about what I want to do. And then if I need to, I can go on Pinterest to look for ideas. But it's like constantly looking at what other people are doing. And so it's like they're ruling our brain. Our brain's like, we're not being creative anymore. We're looking at everybody else's work.
That's the horrible thing about social media, is that you ever like follow people, whether it's friends or creators or other business owners or whoever the case may be, and you can't help but just compare yourself to them. And they're in different seasons of life, or they might have, years more experience than you, but you can't help but think like, God, why am I not that person?
Right. All the time. I mean, it comes from a place of, wanting to strive to be something great, which everybody loves to have that. And you should have that. But you should strive for something within yourself and not within somebody else. Because I think that's what a lot of people do is like, you look up to someone, which is totally okay. I look up to so many people, but you can't stress your whole life around what they're doing, because that's when everything gets blurry and it's just crazy.
It is. It's really tragic. It's unfortunate, but it's the world we live in, I guess, because as much as I'm saying how much I hate that we do that as a society, I do it all the time. And
all the time.
I don't wish I was anybody else. I'm pretty happy with who I am to my core, but it's the success.
Absolutely.
Have you ever met somebody who is perfectly content with not being successful? Have you ever met someone like that? I met someone like that recently, and I thought to myself, not that I'm better than them or any way, but I thought like, man, like this person is content with being at the entry level, position in their career, and they're content with being that until the day they retire.
Right.
And I was like, I disagree so much fundamentally with that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if that's what makes you happy,
that's what makes you happy.
That's what makes you happy. So
absolutely.
It was almost like it was a weird experience talking to them. I was like, I just want to know where this comes from.
Right.
But because that's just who I am. Whenever people tell me things, I often will just try to digest what they're saying and think like, okay.
Yeah.
I just want to get to know everybody.
Oh, absolutely. And you have to stop sometimes and think, okay, yeah, I guess everybody does not think like I do, which is hard. Mm-hmm. It's like, wait, why aren't you thinking what I'm thinking?
Yep.
So that's definitely tough. But I think, I'm happy where I'm at. And if you're happy within yourself, then that shows throughout your entire life.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's the most important thing within a career, within your family life, within yourself. It's just loving yourself and finding happiness within yourself.
Absolutely. So let's talk about you then. So where'd you grow up?
I actually grew up in Ackworth.
Okay.
So I went to Harrison High School. I lived in Ackworth for, I think it was like 21, 22 years. But yeah, it was a great experience living in Ackworth, and I absolutely hated Ackworth after I lived there for so long that I was like, you know what? I need a change. So I moved to Marietta, which is not far at all. But I was like, you know what? Hey, it's a different scenery, closer to the city. Let me tell you, it is completely different than living in Ackworth.
It is. The people are different.
So different.
Just the layout of like Marietta is, I feel like, so tight, and Ackworth is just more. Ackworth is huge. It spans like 4 different zip codes, 4 different counties.
Yep.
It's huge.
It really is. And I love Marietta, and I lived over by the Battery for 3 years, and I loved it. But it got to a point where it's like, okay, this is just every day. I'm just screaming in the car because there's so much traffic. You can't get anywhere. I'm unhappy. Like, what's going on? So what do you know? I'm back in Ackworth.
Where near the Battery? I feel like we probably lived like down the street from each other for several years.
Yes. So at Rockledge.
You lived in Rockledge?
I did.
I lived in Rockledge also.
When did you live there?
What year was it?
That is so funny. Oh, because you lived with, did you live with Jordan?
I did live with Jordan, yes.
Yes.
Oh
okay.
my God. What
that
year was that?
Funny.
That was like 20. Oh God, I'm horrible with years. What is it? 2023 now? 2020. It was probably like 2018-ish.
Yeah, we probably lived there the same time.
Oh my God.
That is hilarious.
That's funny. I wonder if Jordan knew that.
He probably didn't.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
That is really funny.
Did you ever go to that pizza place right across the street from
Harry's?
Harry's?
Yes.
Oh my God, I love them.
Their
I did their website.
subs.
Fun fact.
Did you really?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love Harry's. I love them.
That is awesome.
Yep.
I love it. No, they have, even if you go by there today, they have so many new, like they're building a brand new Kroger, a
Really?
Mexican restaurant. They have Rose and Crown. Have you ever been there?
No.
So rooftop bar, and it is super nice, brand new.
Where is it?
It's in between the new, I think they're senior communities. They're apartments on Powers Ferry.
Okay.
Orient Express.
Yeah.
So it's like a few doors down from them.
Okay.
On the same side of the road. It's like stuck in between two apartment buildings.
Okay. When we were leaving the area, there was a ton of construction.
Yes.
So that must have been what all of that is now.
Yep. And it is awesome. So it used to be, Rose and Crown used to be this cute little pub, like looked like a little dome shape. And before COVID, we went all the time. And then COVID happened. I think it really wiped them out. I mean, I don't want to say that because I don't know what happened. Yeah. But something happened. They closed down. But now they came back and they're bigger than ever.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's crazy that you lived over there. That's hilarious.
Yes.
I loved living over there, but I did feel the same as you. Like traffic is horrible at all times. If there was a Braves game in town, forget it. Just plan on not going anywhere because traffic around that stadium with like a 10-mile radius, it seemed like traffic was just horrible at all times.
Yep. At all times. You couldn't get anywhere. And it's like, I don't want to live my life.
You know what sucked too is that me and Jordan moved there, and then like I think it was six to 9 months later, COVID hit. So we never went. I think maybe once or twice we never went to the Battery.
Oh dang!
Because we were like, we're gonna be so close. We're gonna walk to all these Braves games. Like it's gonna be awesome. No, didn't happen.
Nope. You know it. I did. So I walked to one Braves game. I walked home from many Braves games.
Yeah.
Because trying to get an Uber, so $5 there.
Impossible.
$5 there. I was like, wow, this is the greatest thing ever. Trying to get home, $65.
Yep.
And you could never find one.
Nope.
Because somebody else would jump in yours and then you would get charged. It was a whole thing. So I was like, you know what? Can't feel my legs anyways. Let's walk home.
Oh, yeah. I nightmares trying to get out of the Battery in an Uber.
Oh, yeah.
Nightmares. Yeah. I always felt like, okay, if we're going to get an Uber, we need to get out of the whole Battery complex and walk like a half a mile down the street and say, hey, pick me up at the, whatever those, like there's a KFC that's on like one side of Cobb Parkway. There's like a Starbucks. It's like, just pick me up at the KFC.
Yep.
Which
and
sucks,
that's what you have to do anywhere now. Like I went to the Georgia Country Music Festival last weekend.
Jealous.
I know. It was awesome. They for a first year festival, they did a really, really good job. So I will say kudos to them because it was a great organization was phenomenal, and just the way that they ran it was really, really good. Do I think they should have some bigger artists next year? 100%.
Who was their biggest artist?
Probably, I mean, everybody was there for Turnpike Troubadours, if you've ever heard of them.
I don't even know who that is.
I didn't know who it was either, but after listening to them, they're so fun.
Really?
Oh, it was so fun. I am not like the banjo type at all.
Oh, okay, so it's that kind of country.
Violin, banjo, getting down. But it was fun.
Okay.
It was a fun crowd.
Okay.
So that was a big one. Jamie Johnson.
Okay.
He was there, listening to In Color, made my whole life. So it was great. Coetzel was so fun.
Mm-hmm. Who's your top three right now in country?
Coetzel, Hardy is my number one. I love Hardy.
I'm so glad to hear you say that. That man is criminally underrated.
Oh my gosh.
Criminally underrated.
He really is. He's such a good, obviously I've never met him. I would love to meet him one day. Oh my gosh, my life would be made. But he's just a genuinely good guy, and his music is amazing.
It is. And people don't realize that before he was a singer, he's written dozens and dozens and dozens of number one hits performed by other artists.
Right.
So I love Hardy.
He doesn't get the credit for it at all. He is phenomenal. So he's probably my number one. Number two, Coetzel, which is still in the realm of like that rock country. And then number three, I don't know. I do love me some Eric Church.
Eric Church is fantastic.
Yes. Yep.
We saw Hardy. He opened up for Jason Aldean last year.
Ooh.
Last year, I think. Yeah. Jason Aldean came to town last year, and me and Catherine and my dad went and saw him, and Hardy opened, and it was fantastic. I love Hardy.
Yes.
He's just that guy. And he's, like you said, he seems so down to earth, so humble.
Yeah.
Just happy to be there.
For sure. And he like the way that he engages with the crowd too. I feel like he does such a good job with that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it's just, I'm a huge rock person.
I was going to say, he's like half country, half rocker.
Yes.
Like his new album, The Mockingbird and the Crow, right? It's like half country songs, half just metal almost.
Yep.
It's heavy rock.
It's heavy rock, but I love it. I usually am not like a super heavy metal type person, but him, like, it's just different. Like he has a different twang to it. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yep. I love him. He's fantastic. And Eric Church, he's great too. My parents took me to see him years ago. Like he was actually, I credit him and Kenny Chesney as being the artists that convinced me that country was a legitimate genre. Because at the time, back in high school, I thought country was trash. I was like, this music is dumb. All they do is sing about sunshine and beaches and beer and women, and that's all it is. But then my dad was like, we got tickets to Kenny Chesney. Yeah. Come. And I was like, okay. And the lineup was amazing looking back. It was Eli Young Band, Casey Musgraves when she first came out. Yeah. Eric Church and Kenny Chesney. Oh, and it changed my life. I love country to this day. It's fantastic.
I know. I've always loved country. I've always had a love for country. But I didn't really start like listening to it until I met my boyfriend. Yeah. And he is like huge country, like old time country too. And he just told me to listen to the lyrics one day. And I was like, you know what? I guess I'm just not like a lyrics person. Yeah. I really just listen to the beats of things.
Me too. Yeah. If my head can bop to it, that's all I care about.
That's all I care about. And if I can't, I'm not listening.
100%.
Yes. But he's like, listen to the storylines. And now when I listen to country music, I listen to the lyrics. And every single artist is just, their storylines are phenomenal.
They're great storytellers.
They are. I mean, that's a true artist right there.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. That's a really good way to think about it. So many artists tell stories in their music, and yeah, they do sing about beer and sunshine and, you know, patriotism and all of those things, but there's a lot of really well-told stories about their personal lives in there too. Yep. So. For sure. Yeah, I think that's why you connect with them so much too, because it's like, oh, wow, like I'm listening to your story. And most of the time it's things that we can relate with. So that's the coolest part. I feel like country artists are the most also I'm just completely guessing here, but they're the most approachable of musicians. Yeah. Like when you think about like in hip hop, you think about Jay-Z. Mm-hmm. Like I would never have the balls to approach Jay-Z if he was out and about. But if I bumped into, I don't know, Jason Aldean in a bar, I'd be like, hey, Jason, love your music. Right, keep doing it, man. Yeah. But I feel like country artists they try to market themselves to the everyday person. Right. And that's what makes them seem like I could go and strike up a conversation with Morgan Wallen or Luke Combs, who are probably two of my favorite right now. I didn't want to get sucked into the Morgan Wallen of it all, but it happened. It happened. I didn't expect it. I didn't see it coming. Yeah, he had a few songs over the years. I was like, they're bops. Yeah. I'm sucked in. Sunrise. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's a bop. Yep. That new album he put out, there's like 27 songs. I'm pretty sure 20 out of the 27 are bangers. Oh, absolutely. They're so good. I can listen to every single one of them 20 times a day. And no skips. Fine. Nope. None at all. It's perfect. It's phenomenal. So back to you.
I know we totally got on.
Total tangent, but that's okay. Country music deserves it.
Yes.
I feel like it's still criminally underrated.
Oh yeah.
There's just hits.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to convert all my friends as time goes on. Like, listen to more country.
Yeah.
Just do it. Find you an artist that gets you in the door, and then expand from there.
Well, because it's cool that all these country artists, like some of them, I can't listen to. Like it's that. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I cannot do the like old time country.
Yeah, you're not there yet.
I'm not there. I don't think I will ever be there.
You got to get there. I don't know. I'm not deep into old country, but there's only a few artists that I can turn on. Like Alan Jackson is one of them.
Okay, well,
he's the GOAT
Yeah.
of old country, I think.
Right.
But there's a lot of artists that I turn on. I'm like, get this crap off.
Right,
of here.
exactly. It's like my ears are bleeding. Please stop. But it's also like there's a variety of country music. Like Hardy, he's a rock country. Like it's just, and then you have your banjos, and then you have your violins, and it's just all sorts of instruments. That's what's cool.
You know, I've been trying for the life of me to get into this Zach Bryan guy that everybody's talking about.
I love Zach Bryan.
I can't do it.
Really?
I don't know what it is. Look, he's so talented. He got arrested the other day. Did you see that?
No, I did not.
He got arrested for something, and they leaked the inside the police car like camera footage of him like trying to get out of the arrest. I don't know what he
Dang.
did. Let me see what he did. We're
Yeah,
talking
I'm
about
curious
it. Why
now.
not? Unless it was fake news, but
It might be. That's fine.
it very well might be. Zach Bryan
Just
jail.
here to spread all the fake news to you.
Here we go. Zach Bryan, this is from New York Times. This has to be real. Zach Bryan arrested after interfering with traffic stop in Oklahoma. His statement, it says, blah, blah, blah. He was briefly jailed in rural Oklahoma. Yeehaw. He was charged with obstructing an officer, misdemeanor, and then he tried to avoid the arrest. So that's what got him arrested.
Whoa.
Trying to see if there's like a statement. Today, I had an incident with the Oklahoma Highway Patrol. Emotions got the best of me, and I was out of line in the things I said. I support law enforcement as much as anyone can. I was just frustrated in the moment. So I think he's fine. He just was.
And I respect that post too, because I think a lot of people forget that we are human and we have emotions. Like things happen.
Yeah.
Do I think that's right? Absolutely not. But when emotions are high and you're stressed and whatever, like things happen.
Yeah, it says, according to the official documents, Zach Bryan was, quote, clearly aggravated and very argumentative, and kept telling the cops, if you don't let me go, this is going to be a mistake, sir, I promise. This is going to be a mistake, I promise.
Ooh.
And then in his statement, he said, it was very immature of me. I just pray everyone knows that I don't think I'm above the law. I was just being disrespectful, and I shouldn't have been. It was my mistake.
Well, I mean, kind of sounds like you thought you were above the law, but you know.
Yeah. Sounds like it
Do
to
better.
me.
That's the thing. Is mistakes happen,
Just do better. Yep.
Do better.
Absolutely. So back to you. So you lived in the Smyrna area for a while. And at some point, so let's go a little further back. So you went to Harrison, and apparently we worked at the same Kroger.
Which is so wild to me. I guess I quit right before you.
I swear to
or you
both,
quit before I started. I don't know.
I swear to both Miranda and Jordan that I did not work there at the same time as you. I do not remember you at all.
Were you a bagger?
I was a cashier. I might have started right when you quit.
I feel
When
like
did you
you
quit?
did. I have no idea.
Because I know I started in the fall of 2014. Because that's when I moved to Georgia.
Okay,
It was summer 2014.
so it had to have been a little, probably right at that time then.
Unless we
because I
worked
graduated
together at the same time.
2014, and I quit because I went to college. That's why I
Okay,
quit.
there it is.
I forgot about
See,
that. Okay.
We didn't work there at the same time.
Yes.
It was.
Did not.
It must have been maybe just weeks.
Yes, I really do, because I was the first person to quit because I went to Valdosta State for a semester. And then, because I wanted to get away, I was like, I'm so done with Ackworth. Went to Valdosta State.
Yeah, how'd that go?
Did not go well. Realized real quick, if you are not a part of a sorority or a fraternity, you are nothing. And there's nothing to do there either.
Really?
And looking back on it, I wish I would have joined a sorority just to, get the experience, meet new people. But I'm just not the sorority type. So I decided not to. And I got really homesick. I felt like I had nothing to do. And I was like, you know what? No, I think it's time to go back home.
Yeah? And that's what you did?
So I only lasted a semester. It was pretty bad.
So then what'd you do from there?
I couldn't even last a whole year.
So you went back home.
Went back home, went to KSU.
There you go. Hootie hoo.
Yep, hootie hoo. Changed my degree like 4 times, but it's fine.
What did you finally what was the cycle of degrees?
Started with physical therapy.
Okay.
Then I went to nursing.
Okay.
So still in the same realm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did nursing at Valdosta State. Then I came back here, still wanted to do nursing. And then I took human anatomy.
Okay.
Did great in the first one. Second one, we watched a bunch of surgeries and learning it was the superior, inferior, all that stuff. I could not get it down. When I watched the surgery, I passed out and I decided, okay, I can't do blood.
Yeah.
So how am I going to be a nurse?
Yeah.
This is not going to be a good fit, Katie. So I decided that I was going to go into marketing. So marketing became something I was super interested in. It ties into what I'm doing today, but something in me was like, I'm not trying to sit in a cubicle for the rest of my life.
Sure.
So then I had that whole thing.
Yeah.
And then I went to psychology.
Okay.
Because I love the human brain. I love learning about just how people think and why they think the way they do. So I always had an interest in that. I love talking. So therapy was always, like, becoming a therapist was always something that I had on my mind. But then something in me, I was like, I don't know. I wasn't going full force. So then I turned into teaching. Education. I love education. I turned to education because, I've always, my entire life, I always acted like the teacher. In my friend group growing up, like, we always played school, and I thought I was the best teacher ever, just learning, using the way that people learn how to think. So my love for psychology and tying that in with teaching. And it's like, okay, I know everybody thinks differently, so how can I create a way to make sure I'm teaching the correct things? So it's super cool to learn, especially kids, like, how they learn how to think and learn. So that was really interesting, and so I graduated with that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but that did not go very far.
Yeah, let's talk about so you taught for how long?
I taught for 3 years. I did student teaching for a year, so really 4 years, but I guess I only got paid for 3.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I really did. My student teaching year was 4th grade, and I loved 4th grade. I thought that's the grade I wanted to do. Yeah. Well, looking for a job, there was no 4th grade positions that wanted me. So the one I got was 5th grade at the school that I was teaching at, which was Bernie. Bernie is a Title I school, amazing school, amazing families, amazing kids, and just all around, I loved it. And then COVID happened. That was my first year of teaching.
Yep.
That was a huge shock to be honest, because everything was being thrown at me that year, like being off on my own. I was cut off from the parents' payroll and starting a new career and living on my own. It was like, whoa, what is happening? So a lot going on, and then COVID happened, and you have kids that have behaviors in your class and just all these things that you don't think of. So then halfway through the year when we got shut down, I was like, wow, this is great. I could do this all the time. At the time, I thought that was great because I didn't know what was going on. Then for the rest of the year, it was like, it sucked. I didn't see my kids at all because they didn't have laptops. They can't afford laptops. So they didn't put in account my kids when they were coming up with this shutdown situation. So that was really sad for me.
So what happened then? Like if you can't, if they're assuming that families, they just assumed that everybody would have access to something that had a camera so that they could do online school. So whatever happened for those who couldn't afford that?
Sad part is nothing happened, and I never saw them again. I still, to this day, I never got to say goodbye. I never got to talk to them. Damn. Nothing. Because most of them, I had a lot of sad stories my first year of teaching. One in particular, Brianna, super sweet kid. She will always have a place in my heart. She gave me a run for my money, I'll tell you that. But it was her. She was raised by her grandparents. They didn't have enough money. She was always left alone. So for her, she didn't care. She was going off doing her own thing, hanging out with friends, and that's what most of them did. If their parents were at work, which most of them were still working while the schools were shut down at that time, while everybody else was trying to figure out. So no parents were around. And so they were just doing whatever they wanted to. I saw maybe three kids, and those were the ones that had laptops. Those were the ones that, had a really good, supportive family life, and it was really sad.
So you taught like 3 kids?
I taught 3 kids.
Oh my God.
And it was only for an hour.
A day?
A day. Yeah. All we had to do was get on, and we said, hey, these are your assignments. Do you have any questions? They would ask questions. Most of the time, honestly, they just wanted to talk. And so I would just talk to them. We wouldn't even talk about school. I was like, we need to focus on how you're feeling. Like, how are you guys feeling?
There's that therapist coming out.
I know, right? And they were miserable. They were like, we want to come to school. And I'm like, I know you do. I know. And it breaks my heart because it was so sad just like seeing them and how upset they were. But they left school. And you could see that because they came online. And the ones that did love school that didn't have a laptop, that broke my heart.
Yeah.
Because...
So what, those kids just don't get to learn then?
They just don't get to learn.
Ugh.
So we wonder why education is where it is today. Half of these kids, probably more than half of these kids, did not finish a full year of school. Mm-hmm. They ended in March. And they lost so much instruction.
Yeah.
And then, fast forward to the next year, that was...
Was it the hybrid year?
It was the hybrid year. God, whew. Talk about, I thought my first year was tough. No, the second year was even worse because of hybrid. Because it all started off with everyone online. You still had kids. Parents went to work. They didn't care enough to show up online. Yeah. So that was always tough. Then you have people that come back into school. So I had 9 kids in person, and then I had 13 or 14 online.
Wow.
So I was having to go back and forth all day long.
That's a big class too.
It's a big class. And it switched every quarter. That was the fun part. Yeah, it was great. It was like, okay, yeah, if you want to go to school this quarter, you can go back home this quarter. And it's like, no, we're not doing all this.
Dang.
It was hard for teachers. Like, that was the hardest time I've ever just experienced in a career.
Yikes.
So it's, yeah.
So what year did you graduate from KSU? Because Catherine's first year teaching was also that COVID year.
2019.
I don't know if she graduated 2018 or 2019. You guys might have graduated at the same time from KSU.
Crazy. Oh my gosh.
In education.
That is wild.
We've literally been tiptoeing around each other.
I know. Really, though.
For years.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I remember her working remote in my apartment at Rockledge. She would just come over because she didn't have to be at home. She could, and I was working remote at the time, so she just would tune into her online thing and teach her kids for however long she did, and she would just hang out the rest of the day.
Oh, yeah.
What a weird time.
Such a weird time. Like trying to teach through a screen when you're supposed to, when the standards say to use manipulatives, which are what we used back in the day of like cubes and
How do you do that?
And they're called manipulatives now.
Manipulatives.
Such a fancy word, but it's all in the standards. So it's like they didn't learn the standards because.
And now you're having these kids, like Catherine was telling me, the past couple years, you can see the COVID kids coming into like, she teaches second, so she doesn't see them when they're too old, but like even at 7 years old, they're showing signs of they don't know how to interact with each other because they haven't had to up until this point. They've all been either remote or hybrid or something in between, or they didn't have access to the technology, so they just didn't go to school.
Yep.
That's crazy to me. Imagine not having a laptop, so therefore you didn't have to go to school or you couldn't go to school.
Oh, absolutely. And the parents that did not, well, not even the parents, everyone was not allowed to see each other. So you couldn't see your friends. The saddest part was seeing when everyone came back to school. So that was my third year. Yeah. And that's the year that I was like, all right, this was my third year was the best year I've ever had. But I was like, I hate teaching. I am done with this career. So I'm going to go out with a good year.
Do you think you almost think that your teaching experience was ruined because of COVID? Do you think you would have gotten out of teaching as fast as you did if COVID had not happened?
I don't think that I would have gotten out as fast. Do I think I would have quit teaching? Yes, I still would. Like I'm trying to think about what I say because I don't want to get in trouble about things. Yeah. But people don't realize what goes on behind scenes. Yeah. They really don't. It is sad. And education is not about kids. It's not. It's not for the kids. It is not about them. We don't care about kids, is essentially what it comes off as. And that's not why I went into teaching. Yeah. I went into teaching to make a difference in these kids' lives. And when I realized I wasn't making a difference anymore, I'm not going to waste my time and energy on that. Yeah. Yeah. So
that's unfortunate.
It really is, because talking to all the new teachers that I went in with, so there was about 10 of us and only 2 are left. Wow. In the profession, not the school. Wow. The profession.
I don't know how many teachers, just from people I follow from high school, from college, from, meeting from whoever, that have left education after not even 5 years. Mm-hmm. Not even 3 years, some of them.
Yeah. And it's sad because, a big thing for me too was administration. Administration is a whole different conversation. Mm-hmm. But then I realized, it's administration and how they portray everything, but it comes from a higher up. And they're just relaying that to us. Now, how they want to handle it, that's on them. But that's when I realized, administration plays a big part, but it's also the bigger part of it, like the superintendent and the county and the nation as a whole. like nobody knows or cares enough to sit down and think about what these kids need.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Yeah.
But there's my spiel for the day.
Well, yeah, I appreciate it. So going back to, before we talk about what you're doing now, going back to mutual friends. So you worked at Kroger and you knew Miranda, obviously, then because she worked at Kroger. You knew Jordan because he worked at Kroger. How did you meet Chamberlain?
Chamberlain. I met Chamberlain through Lauren.
Yes, Braun.
Yep.
Yes.
Did I meet her? Yeah, I think I did.
Where did you meet Lauren?
Lauren.
We're about to connect the dots.
I know. Lauren, I met, well, maybe I knew Chamberlain before Lauren. I met Lauren through an ex-boyfriend.
Okay.
And we just hit it off one day.
Yeah.
And we became best friends.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Best friends. Still love her to death. Like, just saw her last weekend, actually.
I haven't seen her or Sean or anyone in that whole realm in years.
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, she has a baby now.
Yeah.
Like, seeing her as a mom is the coolest freaking thing, though. Like, just seeing your friends being moms, it's like, wow. Yeah. Like, we're finally at that stage of life. It's cool. Yeah,
it is really cool. Yeah. I always enjoyed my time being around them. That was a group. So I knew them because Jordan quit Kroger and went to work at Rafferty's. Mm-hmm. If you remember where Rafferty's was off Barrett Parkway. Do. Now it's some Mexican restaurant, I think.
Zama, I think.
Have you been?
I haven't.
I heard it's not good.
But I just miss my baked potato soup and mushroom soup.
I miss Rafferty's so much.
Oh, and that, what's the salad dressing? The honey mustard with the, oof,
I know what you're talking about.
So good.
I miss that place. And now the only Rafferty's, I think, to my knowledge, is in Athens.
Yep. That's the only one I think.
Unfortunate.
Yep. I know. It really is. So good. But yeah, I think I met Chamberlain through Lauren. I'm almost positive. And Chamberlain and I were super close, but then obviously, Chamberlain, I miss you.
She moved
far away. Far away.
I know she hits me up every time she's in town, and when I see the text come through, I'm like, oh goodness, Chamberlain.
Right.
And but every single time she comes, I'm either out of town or I'm doing something that I can't get out of, and I feel bad because she still texts. So if you hear this, Chamberlain, I'm sorry.
We miss you.
We miss you because she's a ton of fun. She's the life of the party. Yes. But I just, and I met her because she also worked at Rafferty's. And I always heard everybody talking about Katie Runyon. I was like, who's Katie Runyon? I've never met this woman. I don't even know what she looks like. And Jordan would always be like, you worked with her at Kroger. And I was always like, no, I didn't. I have no idea who this girl is. And then, boom, full circle.
Yep.
Here we are.
I know. It's crazy. It really is crazy how small this world is.
It truly is.
Like, insane. And not even things that, like, someone that you met forever ago and then you like don't even think about it and then you meet them again one day. Mm-hmm. It's like, whoa, a full circle back around, like here we are again.
Yep. 100%.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. And then through getting really close, me and Catherine have gotten really close with Miranda and her husband Jordan.
Yep.
Over the past couple years, because we oddly enough weren't super close at Kroger, but I considered her a friend when I went into work and I saw Miranda was working, just like if I saw Jordan Burton working, I was like, oh, sweet.
Right.
Jordan and Miranda's working. Like, today's going to be an okay shift. Were you a cashier also?
I was not.
What were you?
I was a bagger.
You were a bagger?
Miranda and I started as baggers.
Now I'm confident I didn't work with you because I never knew you as a bagger.
Yep.
I don't think when I worked there were any girl baggers. It was all like high school boys.
Really?
From like Harrison or Hillgrove or one of the two. But either way, Miranda and you were close, really close too. And when I was like, you knew Katie Runyon too? Who is this Katie Runyon? But now full circle, getting it's just crazy.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
It really is. I love Miranda. We used to have the best time together. Oh my gosh. Her and I at Kroger.
Yeah.
We never got any work done.
No.
Ever. Or Jordan.
Meanwhile, I know.
Jordan's always always on Snap. I still have this picture actually.
Dude was addicted to Snapchat.
He
used to be on it all the
devil
time.
horns on me with a devil tail. I was like, wow okay.
Jordan, check that out.
Right?
Shout out to you, buddy.
Yeah.
I love me some Jordan.
I know.
I feel like I don't see people as often as I should. I'm like we said at the very beginning. Life is so busy, and people live like him and Emily. They live in Smyrna, and you know I'm on the opposite side of the state. It feels like like I knew living in Cartersville, you know, because like you said before we walked in, when you said, "Oh, Cartersville," like people are always like, "Oh, you bought a house in Cartersville? Oh, out there."
Out
like,
there,
it's not that far.
It's not,
especially because I don't know about your boyfriend. But actually you do, because you said what road he lives off of, but we're kind of on the edge of Cartersville. Like Ackworth is like 10 minutes that way. So like not far from Ackworth.
Yeah.
So
it's not like deep in Cartersville.
We're not deep like banjo plucking Cartersville.
Right.
We're not violin Cartersville. We're on the edge of Cartersville. People are like, what's out there? I'm like, everything except for a Costco or a Sam's. They put one of those out here. I'll never have to go to Kennesaw again.
Yep.
Sold. But it's crazy. Full circle, small world.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But now here we are. Look at us now.
I know.
Years later.
I know.
So now you're doing something else.
I am.
So you left education, and did you always have this plan, or did you leave education on a whim and say, I got to get out of here. I don't want to do another full year. How did your leaving work? Did you have a plan?
I did have a plan. So after my second year of teaching, that's when I realized, okay, real estate was always a long-term goal for me. I was thinking maybe like in my 40s, I'm like, let me build up a database and build up a love for, business and figure out marketing and things like that. And then I'll go for that. So that was always a long-term goal. But then year 2 of teaching, when I was so miserable, I was like, you know what? I'm either going to sink or I'm going to swim. And I'm just going to go full force in. I played it out a little better because I wanted to make sure I had a buffer, I guess you could say. So my third year of teaching, I had my license in real estate and I was teaching. So I was doing both for my third year. So my third year of teaching was extremely hard because of all of that. But where I am today, it was so worth it. Do I think I could have quit teaching and then jumped right into real estate and on a whim? I could have, but I don't think I would have been in the best place to do that. So I think starting a year and doing two careers at one time was difficult, but it was a good starting point for me.
Yeah, instead of just cutting one career off and beginning fresh, brand new into another, that could be stressful.
Right.
Especially if you sink and not swim.
Yeah.
You will find yourself broke real fast.
Right.
So.
And I did. I'll be honest. Like my first year of real estate, it was not the best at all because you're building up clientele, you're learning how to do things, and it gets to a point where you're like, oh crap, fall time comes, winter time comes, and people really aren't buying and selling houses. You have to budget for that. You really do. And I didn't have any of that. And it was actually my 2-year mark on last Friday. So 2 years in real estate, and I'm in a completely different space.
Really?
So it's hard because it is commission based. And so you don't have salary where it's a consistent thing. Mm-hmm. But it is something that is so rewarding. I could not imagine myself doing anything else right now.
Really?
I have never been this happy in my entire life.
That's fantastic.
And don't get me wrong, I have bad days.
Oh,
Real estate is not always rainbows and butterflies.
Yeah.
And, it's hard. It's running a business. And people don't realize that it's a business. Like I have my own LLC. I have my own marketing plan for my business. And it is not easy doing that by yourself.
Because you're wearing every hat.
Right. And that's why you get so broke in the beginning, is because you're using all these, using all your money to invest into your business and making sure that it just continues to grow and grow. And if it doesn't grow, that's when you get in trouble. Luckily, I'm swimming.
Good.
And, you know, that pays back, but you have to put in the effort.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
You think that's where a lot of people, 'cause I was going to ask you this too. Do you feel like any kind of pressure because there are so many real estate agents? Like, I'm sure part of it, and this goes into when you start your business and kind of figure out what your brand is, what your voice is why would people pick me?
Right.
There's 50 billion other real estate agents out there. Even when we were starting to look for a house, I posted a story like looking for houses or something, and like 6 people hit me up and they're like, if you need any help, let me know. And I was like, I would love to, if I could, I'd love to use all of you.
Right.
But I can't. I got to pick one. And
absolutely,
it's a cutthroat business.
It is.
And do you struggle at all figuring out why Katie? Why am I picking Katie?
I don't. I did at the beginning, and I took things very personal. So when I saw a friend list their house with another agent, or I saw someone buy a house with another agent, it was like, well, damn. Like,
yeah, you're almost salty about it.
Yeah, like it hurt. I was like, oh, okay. Like, am I not good enough? Like, that was my initial thought. Where I am today is so different because it's all mindset. I don't worry about anybody else. I don't worry about, I know there are hundreds of thousands of realtors in this world, but it's also extremely easy to get your real estate license. It's not that hard. So having the mindset of, I know what I do, and I know I do a damn good job at what I do, and just keeping that mindset of helping people and building relationships, that's what my business is about. I'm not about it for the money. The money's great, don't get me wrong, but most agents, that's what you hear is like they run after the money. And I'm not about that. And I'm not worried about other agents. I'm worried about Katie Runyon. I'm not worried about if my friends go with someone else anymore. I don't take that personally anymore, because to me, you should be able to choose whoever you want to choose to work with. And if that means it's with someone else, does it hurt? Yeah, it freaking hurts. But am I going to dwell on that? No, because I just want the best for them. So that I come from a place of focusing on me and my business and not worrying about anybody else.
How has the last year and a half or so been compared to when you first started? I know you said it's just been 2 years, but the housing market is crazy.
Yeah.
It's a crazy time.
It is.
But then do you think that if I could go through a time like this where home prices are crazy and interest rates are going up and they're going down and they're going up and going down, like I could do anything at that point?
Oh, for sure. It's one of those things where you get in at a hard time and it sucks at the time, but then you look back, like right now, I'm looking back at just the past 2 years and I'm like, holy crap, how did I even make this?
Yeah.
Because it's insane about just everything going on and what people are saying, and trying to make sure that when people hear the news, I don't think people understand that when you listen to the news, they're talking about the housing market as a whole, like nationally.
Not just in your area.
Not just in your area. So it's like constantly having to talk to people and let them know what's happening in your specific area and learning how to communicate that with clients. It's difficult. But looking back on it, I'm so thankful that I got in the time that I did, because now all the rest of the times are going to seem so much easier.
Yeah, when the
or
economy's
more,
not going crazy.
not easier, but more, more steady and like
It's volatile.
right. Like just, not feeling like I'm completely crazy and I have no idea what I'm doing. So it's been a ride, but it's so worth it.
Are there any myths about the home buying process that a lot of people think that you have to like, as soon as you start the process with them, like working with them, you're like, that's not true. That's something that everyone says that's not true. Is there one or two things that is really common misconception?
Yes. So actually, this morning I was talking to a friend and I heard a myth. 20% down.
Yeah.
20% down. That's the biggest myth that I can attest to is you don't need 20% down. And the past 2 years, I've had the absolute honor to help 24 families.
That's awesome.
Get into a home. And 2 out of 24 put 20% down.
We didn't have 20% down.
No.
I feel like
nobody does.
Especially today.
No,
20%
not our
down
age.
is like, on average, it's like $60,000.
Right.
No one just has $60,000 laying around.
No.
When we were first beginning to start the process, my dad was like, well, you probably could, if you had 20% down, you might be able to get this kind of loan or that kind of loan. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, Dad, but I just don't think 20% is something that I can come up with right now. I'm not making 6 figures yet.
Right.
So I don't know if 20% is, I could get 20% of a house that costs $80,000 maybe.
Exactly. There we go. Yeah.
There's just, unless you want to live in an outhouse, there's no such thing as an $80,000 house right now.
Right. Absolutely. And you don't think about, 20% down. Yeah, that's a lot of money. Well, okay, maybe you do have it laying around. Well, now you have to think about any repairs that you have to make when you go in the house. Because my job is to negotiate as many repairs and get you as many closing costs as possible. But they're not going to fix everything. So you have to come in with additional money and you have your closing costs. So there's other costs that go into it. So 20% down is just absolutely a myth. 3%, 3 to 5% is really what you need to have.
I think we had 7, 5 to 7, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And then like, it's all, I want to know if you feel this way. I'm sure you do. Older people. Mm-hmm. Not all old people do this. And when I say old, I mean older than us, like 40s, 50s, 60s. When you say like, oh, I didn't have 20% down, they're like, yeesh. Like they start judging immediately.
Oh, absolutely.
You're like, well, I'm sorry, bro, but houses aren't $100,000 anymore.
Exactly.
And like I was saying, like, because I think the interest rate we ended up getting was like 5%. Mm-hmm. Somebody was like,
awesome.
Right. And I was like, I think we got it a little on the higher end for the past couple of years. And then someone will kick into, well, when I bought my house, it was 17%. And you almost want to be like, shut up.
I don't care.
I don't care. Yeah. 5% right now is pretty good.
Yeah.
The fact that interest rates were like 2% years ago is just, pretty sure it's the first time it's ever happened. Ever.
Yeah. So absolutely.
The fact that people are like, oh, don't buy a house until you can get that 2% rate.
It's not going to happen.
That's a fairy tale.
Well, let me backtrack. It will happen, but if it does happen again, that's not good.
Yeah.
That means we're going to be in another pandemic and we don't want that.
No.
Because look at where we are today with our economy. Yep. Not great.
It's not great.
So, I think we forget a lot about, just looking at the whole of things. Yes, interest rates are pretty high from what they were, and house prices are high. There is no doubt about that. But a conversation I had with a client yesterday, brand new client, first time home buyer, I said she really, really needs to get in a house because her lease is about to be up and she needs more space. And my biggest thing is don't focus on the interest rate. Don't focus on the purchase price. Focus on the monthly payment. That is what you are paying. You are not paying $200,000 for that house. You're not paying $400,000 for that house. You're never going to see that.
Right.
You're going to see the monthly payment.
Yeah.
So focus. I know interest rates suck right now. They do. Based on what we've seen. But actually, I know I'm going to be one of these people, 17 interest rate, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, here we go.
Well, 7% is actually normal.
Yeah.
7% is getting back on track. We're getting back on track. Will they go back down again? I think they will. I think they'll go back down maybe 5.5. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it'll go any lower than that. And so it's, just making sure people understand that it's not always about the interest rate. It's not always about the purchase price. It's about the monthly payment. And build equity and get in a house, make a big investment. And then once you build up enough equity, you can buy another house. Mm-hmm. So
exactly.
That's where it starts.
That's where it starts. You always hear people nowadays complaining like, oh my God, they're putting up another housing development. Do you see that as annoyance or do you see that as business, like potential business?
So let me tell you something that I learned the other day. It's actually really sad because we were talking to an economist that came into our office to tell us about the housing market, how it's going. And something I learned was we need, I think he said 3.2 million more houses just to accommodate the population gap right now. So whenever I see a new housing development, it's like, yeah, we need that.
Wow.
Bad.
We do have too many people.
We have way too many people.
Even in just Cobb and Cherokee County, there's so many people.
Oh, yeah.
And there's not enough space.
Nope.
You see almost every other day more road construction because they have to expand even just one lane country roads because there's too many people.
Yeah. I mean, it's really sad to think about because just hearing that number, it's like, where are you going to put
Where are we going to put
all
it?
of this?
We got to start moving to Mars.
Well, everyone who listens to this will be my spiel for the day.
Here it goes.
So
Lay it on
great
us.
advice of Katie Runyon.
Here it is.
On, what's today? September 9th.
September 9th.
2023. I may be wrong about this, but I think the biggest, smartest investment you can make right now is buying land. Buying land. Because in a few years down the road, I'm telling you, builders are going to come to you. And they're going to be like, hey,
Ooh.
I need that land. We need to build a new development. So they're going to be offering you a lot more than what you paid it for.
That's true.
So, getting land, obviously, buying a house. But if you have a house, you're in a house, you already have that investment, buy land. Start buying land. It'll pay off.
Damn, that's a good point. Because even this development that we're in right now, it's a new townhome development. It was just a side street. Mm-hmm. It connected Tennessee Street to the other side of Tennessee Street.
Yeah.
There's 40 homes in this neighborhood.
Right.
They can literally put a development anywhere.
Anywhere.
Yeah. There's just a sliver of a side street.
That's why you see, I was actually looking. So every morning I look at stats for the market. I was looking at Dallas today, and the median home price right now is it was $369,000
in Dallas, Georgia.
In Dallas, Georgia. Last year it was about, I think it was 275-ish maybe, or not last year, maybe 2 years ago. And that just, it shows you that everybody talked about Dallas, or nobody talked about Dallas, but everybody's talking about Dallas now because it's slowly moving into Dallas and they're growing Dallas because they have land. Mm-hmm. So all of these cities that you see, Rome and Adairsville and Winder and all of these cities are eventually going to be just as popular as where we are right now.
That's crazy. I mean, we moved out here. I mean, Catherine would have preferred that we stay in Kennesaw.
Yeah.
Because we lived in downtown Kennesaw, but rent for a 1-bedroom apartment was going to be like $2,200. And I was like, that's more than what I pay for this house right now. Mm-hmm. So So we had a couple friends that moved out here to Cartersville, and they said, come out to Cartersville. It's A, home prices are cheaper, so you'll get in. B, it'll be a great investment because the area will be up and coming, just like Dallas, just like Adairsville, Rome, all of these places. So it'll be a great long-term investment.
Yeah.
And yeah, it might be 30 minutes from Kennesaw, 30 minutes from Woodstock. That's fine.
Yeah.
I drive 30 minutes now, and I think it's nothing. If someone's like, oh, it's 30 minutes away.
Right.
Like, oh, easy.
Exactly.
I drive that every day.
Every day. It's just sad to think about because they're searching for more affordable housing. And so it's migrating into Dallas and Cartersville where there are more affordable housing. But then it's like, looking at that, Dallas median price,
$369,000.
that's not affordable housing.
In Dallas?
That's not affordable. For a first-time home buyer. Like, yes, it's affordable if you have had a house before or whatever your job may be or what your situation is. But a first-time home buyer, that is not a good average first price.
And that's the problem with the 20% down myth, too, is like, oh, we want you to have 20% of $370,000. What is that? Like, that's like $90,000, $80,000.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It's crazy. How do you expect? That's the problem with the economy just as a whole. This is turning into a rant.
Oh,
How do they expect young families to save for a house, want to expand their family? Like, how do they expect young people to do it? I have such this horrible anger towards the older generation that's like, you kids don't know what it's like to work hard. All that shit pisses me off so bad.
Oh yeah.
Because I've got family members that do that, and they're like, well, you don't know what tough is, blah blah. And I just hold my tongue because they're my family members, and I can't say anything to them, or else my mom will call me and be like, you shouldn't be an asshole to your uncle. But it's like, shut up.
Yeah.
It's all relative. Yeah. Things might not seem bad right now for you, but that's because you're 30 years into your career and you're making well into the six figures, and you're not just starting out, just like all of us are.
Yep.
And end of rant. I just get so pissy when old people tell young people that the economy isn't as bad as you think it is.
Right.
It so is.
And I think was life a lot harder back then? Yes, probably. I do. Yeah. Because they didn't have the amount of technology and resources that we have today. But it's a different kind of difficult.
It's all relative to what you have available to you at that time.
Absolutely. That's why I can't stand when somebody else tells another person, like, you don't have it hard.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Do you know me?
Do you know what I'm going through? Oh, didn't think you did. No.
Yeah.
People just have to do better. Like, be more aware. Everybody is not on the same page as you, and that's okay. Life is okay. Everybody will get to a great place one day. Everybody will, if you put your mind to it. But it's your decision where you want to stay.
That's right. That's right.
I know that was a lot.
But it's fun.
Talk your ear off.
No, that's what we love.
Talk.
That's what we love. I'm trying to think. This is going to be the second of this new batch of interviews that I'm doing. You're going to be the second episode. The first one, do you know Cody Estep?
I've heard the name.
Okay, I was going to say, I mean, you're kind of in that circle.
Yeah.
So I was just going to say, so his was 2.5 hours.
Damn.
I know. Did not expect it. Did not expect that. We are probably not going to go that long. But I do want to ask, so each one of my guests that I have, we talk about them, we talk about their life, whatever. And at the end, or towards the end of each interview, I ask them all a grouping of the same questions, just to kind of end every interview on the same note. Yeah. And they're kind of rapid fire questions. They're more loosey-goosey questions. They're like first date questions, essentially.
Oh, I hate those.
Oh yeah, total. Half of these,
worst.
You'll be like, oh god, these are total first date questions. But they're
I love it.
But they're fun to ask.
Yeah. Lay it on me.
I'm gonna lay them on you. I know at the beginning you said that you don't watch a ton of movies, but what is your favorite movie?
What's my favorite movie? I have to say Bridesmaids.
That's a great movie.
It's so good.
We were talking about Bridesmaids last night because we watched last night The Little Mermaid. The new
I
Little
still haven't
Mermaid.
seen it.
It's on Disney
Is it
Plus
good?
now. It is pretty good.
Okay.
Pretty good. And we were talking about it because Melissa McCarthy plays Ursula.
So funny.
And someone was like, "Oh my God, is that Melissa McCarthy?" I was like, "Yeah, she's come a long way from Bridesmaids,
Yeah.
shitting in the sink."
Yes.
Such a funny
my
movie.
Gosh, such a funny movie. I mean, you literally cannot get any better than that.
No,
That's been my favorite movie for probably 15 years
Yeah.
or however long it's been out. I don't know.
I don't even know. Does everyone say like, "Oh yeah, that came out in 2012," and you would have been like, "Yeah, that was like a couple years ago." That was 10 years ago.
I know. Well, I had a thing come up on my Facebook the other day, the Facebook memories, and it was high school graduation or something. And I'm like, holy cow. That's almost 10 years.
2014?
2014.
Yeah.
It's almost 10 years. That's crazy.
Someone was like, "Do you think they do high school reunions anymore?" And I was like, "I don't know. My 10 years is a few years away." And they're like, "What year did you graduate?" And I was like, 2014. They're like, "Dude, that's next year."
Next year.
Like, oh, I've been out of high school. We were talking, do you ever think, if you're at Kroger or if you're out and about and you see like a high schooler, do you think they look at us and think like, those are adults? Those are old people.
Oh,
not old people, but
for sure. I'm telling you, even when I was teaching my 5th graders, they would come, they thought I was like 35. And I'm like, at the time, I was only, what was I?
like
24?
21?
Yeah,
22,
something like
23,
that. It's
something like that. Early 20s.
No, I am not
Do I
35.
look 35?
Right? And at that time, it's like I was so offended. Like, oh my gosh, do I look that old? And now when I get told that, I'm like, I don't really care. I'm close to
Like
it.
I
I'm getting
act
there.
35. I mean, I
Right?
want to be in bed by like 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Exactly. That's the new bedtime routine. 9:30, wake up at 4:30.
You wake up at 4:30.
Not every day, but I've been trying to get better about it.
What do you do? Do you work out in the morning? Is that what you do? Okay.
So I've been starting a new routine of waking up early, working out, and then I usually start my business day about 6 o'clock. So I make handwritten notes to everyone that I've met, any birthdays that I have, just anyone that I'm thinking about, I write notes to. Then I look at my tasks for the day and I just get started with everything, hit the ground running.
That's fantastic. All of my most successful friends begin their days before 6 a.m.
You have
and
to.
I'm like,
Yeah.
damn,
There's not enough time in the day, and I cannot stress that enough. Back in the day, I was like, oh my gosh, does this day ever end? Now I'm like, I could probably use like 3 more hours of the day.
If there was 3 more hours in between when you would get off of your regular 9 to 5, if there was an additional like chunk of time in between when you get home from work versus when you go to bed, that'd be so pristine.
And the funniest part is there is. It's just a matter of if you want to use it or not. But I don't want to use it. I want to use that time to sleep. I need like 3 extra hours just like squeezed in to productive time.
Catherine keeps telling me, because she wakes up like asinine early to get to school. So,
Yeah.
I mean, she's like, you should just start waking up with me when I wake. She wakes up at like
Yes.
5. I'm like, maybe I should start and do like the little things. Cause it's tough to even just have time for Katie.
Yeah.
It's tough to have time for yourself. So if I wanted to sit and play video games for 3 hours, that's taking time away from her or from, a future family whenever that happens, or time away from, doing things to market the podcast. And I'm like, there's not enough time to do even just things for just myself.
Right.
So I almost feel like I should wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and
Yeah.
that be my Logan time.
Yep.
I don't know.
It's honestly amazing. I hated it at first. I was like, you know what, this sucks. I'm so tired. I want to go back to bed. But around like 2 o'clock is when I really notice it. And you're like, oh, wow, I'm so happy I got up that early because I got so much done today. And I had to work out in the morning, like got that done. It's just, it makes you feel better. It makes you feel more productive. And then you get used to it and you don't even blink an eye.
That's awesome. I need to start doing that.
I guess that's when you go into adulthood. That's the life.
The recipe for success.
The recipe for success.
All right, you're going to rank these 3 appetizers.
Ooh.
And they're all dips. Queso, salsa, and guac. Rank them all.
Okay. Queso, number 1. Duh.
Oh, yeah. Duh.
You know, ask me like a couple months ago, I would have said salsa number 2, but I'm on a really big kick of guacamole right now.
Yeah?
So number 2, guacamole. 3, salsa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. All right. We kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, but you get to listen to 3 musical artists for the rest of your life and nobody else. You get all of their existing catalog plus anything they put out in the future, but only 3.
Oh, I'm so bad at names. Only 3. Dang, why is this so hard? I really don't have like anyone that Hardy for sure. Okay. He'll always be my number 1. The other 2, it's like, I just listen to music.
Yeah.
I don't listen to like one specific person.
I feel like I'm horrible. I listen to a playlist called Faves, and it's just the same like 30 songs on rotation.
Yeah.
I feel like that I'm disrespecting the rest of the 600 songs in my library.
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, I really don't. I don't know. I can't really say a one for sure for the rest of my life. Hardy, always. Maybe like Beyonce. You can never go wrong with Beyonce.
Yeah.
That's my dancing music right there.
Yeah?
Gotta always have Beyonce. But yeah, that's about it.
That's good.
I've always been super weird about music and movies. I don't know movie names hardly. I don't know actor names. I don't know like artist names. I just listen.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I don't know. That's how I've always been.
No, that's cool. That's cool. Let's picture you have a obligation-free Saturday. What is the ideal Saturday for Katie?
Ooh.
No work.
Oh my gosh. No work. That sounds amazing. I would wake up. I would sit on my back porch, drink a cup of coffee or tea, whatever I'm feeling, and just probably have an hour just to myself. And then farmer's market, always on Saturdays. So gotta have the farmer's market. And then depending on what time of year, summertime, I would definitely go to the pool. Fall time, we're going apple picking. We're going to wineries. I'm a huge winery and brewery person.
What's your favorite?
Winery, I don't even know how to say it.
Is it
I know exactly what
Quilusi?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a great place. That's an awesome winery.
I know. I could see you were about to say that.
It's weird getting there. You're like, go through a neighborhood and you're like, am I going the right way?
Right. The first time I went, I was like, wait a minute. This is weird, but kind of cool. I love that winery. And then, or Fainting Goat is a really good one too.
I've not been to that one.
North Georgia.
Okay.
Awesome. And then brewery wise, I love Drowned Valley.
Okay.
So
good.
That's a good one that I've been going to. But also Dry County.
I love Dry County.
Love Dry County. That's my
Their
go-to.
slushies kill me. Anywhere I go,
So
whether it's Quilusi or Drowned or wherever, if they've got a slushie of some kind, it's over. We went to, my wife's cousin has a house up in, technically I think it's, what's Blairsville? Mm-hmm. But it's kind of like Blue Ridge-y area. And we went to this winery and they had blue raspberry wine slushies. It was over.
That sounds
Game
amazing.
Over.
That sounds amazing.
Love a good brewery. I did my birthday party last year at a brewery at Dry County. No regrets. So much space. Just easy.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you're like me, who can't pick a good solid 5 friends to invite somewhere, they have to invite 30 people to any occasion. My bachelor party, 20 people were there.
Oh my gosh, that's wild.
I had 5 groomsmen, but 20 people were there.
I feel like that's how mine's going to be.
It was stupid, but I was like to my dad was my best man. And I was like,
Oh, I love that.
I kind of want thanks. It was great. It was a great moment getting to ask
Honestly,
him.
I've never heard anybody doing that. I love that.
It was such a great move.
Yeah.
No regrets. My best friend.
It's like,
easily.
You don't have to think, nobody's getting hurt about it or anything like that either. It's like, that's your go-to person.
And you know what's crazy too is, so I have a brother as well. And typically in the guy world, you know, if you have a brother, your brother is your best man. And at first, when I was considering who it was going to be, I was like, well, I guess it should be my brother. And Catherine was like, no offense to my brother, but I was like, she was like, do you want it to be your brother though? And I was like, I feel like my dad's just my guy.
Yeah.
And getting to ask him was just a super great and emotional moment. And if you're a crier like me, I love to cry. I love a good emotional cry.
Love a good
tears
cry.
of joy kind of guy. Love shit like that. So it was just a great moment and it was a good bonding experience. But I was like, Dad, I kind of want to invite everybody to my bachelor party. He was like, you can invite as many people as you want. The more people there, the less expensive it's going to be because everyone will split the cost.
That's so true.
And I was like, let's run it.
I mean, I think that's the important part is like, whoever you ask to be your groomsmen or your bridesmaids, those are your go-to people, not just friends. I have so many friends. It's insane.
It is.
But are they my go-to people 24/7? Not all of them. You can't go to 50 million people all the time. So I think bachelor and bachelorette parties are fun for everyone.
Yep.
But then it's like when you get intimate, those are your bridesmaids. Those are your groomsmen.
100%. Those people are the people I'd take a bullet for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ride or dies.
Yep.
Cool. Next up, Spotify or Apple Music?
Oh, Spotify.
I go back and forth, but I'm an Apple boy.
I don't know. I think I just haven't played around with Apple Music that much. I don't even, is it the same cost and stuff?
I don't even know if I'm being honest. I mean,
I know they have like family plans. That's kind of cool.
They do. And I'm still riding that train. So until I get the boot, I am.
Well, that's why then.
Hey,
the truth comes out.
Listen. So I tried Spotify for probably 9 months because she's always used Spotify and my family has a whole family plan. They've offered to get her on there. She's like, no, I'm a Spotify girl. So she stays on that train. You know, I was like, you know what? We're going to do Spotify together. It's going to be our joint thing. We're going to have a Spotify account. It's going to be great. And I like Spotify, but I'm just an Apple nerd. Yeah. I love Apple.
I do too.
I could find out that company supports something horrible, and I'm like, great, when's the next iPhone now?
Not a care in the world.
Not a care in the world. I'll buy your overpriced phones and laptops till the day I die.
But they're not even overpriced. That's the thing. Like right now, I'm looking for a new laptop.
Yep.
Because it's finally that time. So I got a laptop when I went to college.
Yeah.
2014.
Oh, yeah.
Got the MacBook Pro Apple. I was like, yes, I'm so cool.
Hell yeah. Equipped.
Whatever. Okay. I'm still using that same MacBook Pro. And it is 10 years.
That is 10 years old.
10 years. And it works like a charm. Why am I about to buy something new? Because nothing that they make nowadays is like they do back then.
Like they used to.
No, not at all. But it's like Apple is expensive, but it lasts long.
It's luxury.
It's worth it. It's worth it.
The other day I saw this poll on like LinkedIn or something, and it was like, what luxury brand do you support most? And Apple was one of the questions. I was like, Apple is luxury, isn't it?
Yeah. You don't think of it that way. Like, I guess I've never thought about it that way either. But I guess it is.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'll support them to the day I die.
Oh, absolutely.
Let me think here. You said you don't know names very well, but are there any stand-up comedians that you find absolutely hilarious?
Oh shoot. I always love Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
He's so funny, but I wouldn't say he's the funniest.
Yeah.
We watched Elliot and I watched the new comedy special on Netflix last night.
Yeah.
Shane Gill.
I think I know who that is.
Maybe?
Yeah. Yeah. Was it funny?
It was really funny. It was really freaking funny. So he's a good one. That was the first time I've ever seen him.
Okay.
But other than that, nothing like pops into my head.
Well,
I
good.
feel like I listen to or watch on Netflix. Who's that? Oh, he is actually really funny. He's bald.
Tom Segura.
Him.
Yep.
You knew exactly what I was talking about.
I love Tom Segura so much.
See, I don't know names, but I know what they look like.
That's the thing
And
about
he's
me
hilarious.
too. I'm such a movie nerd that you can be like, oh, that actress, she was in that movie from 2012. And I'll be like, oh, it was Emma Stone.
Yeah. Good for you. I can't do that.
Yeah, it's
Nope.
back in high school, my dad would be like, if you could memorize your schoolwork as well as you memorize those song lyrics.
Well, it's things that you're interested in. That's all
I
it is.
don't care about biology, Dad.
Right.
I'd rather memorize Look at Me Now by Chris Brown.
Right.
What does success look like to you?
What does success look like to me? Success to me is, waking up with my husband and family one day and making sure I can support them and support myself and loving my job. I think success starts in yourself, but it bleeds a lot into your career too. I mean, I think a lot of people align success with career, but I don't always think that's the case.
I agree.
I think success is really within yourself. You are where you want to be. Like, you've worked on yourself to get to a point where you can hear other perspectives. You have an open mind. You know what it takes to be a good person. And then, family comes with that. Like, family is another part of success. It's like, what have you provided for them? And I think that plays a huge role. And then it's career. And then it's, how far you want to go with your career and how hard you're willing to work. So I think more success is more defined of who you are as a person and your family and your friends rather than your career.
Hell yeah.
I mean, you need money. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's what defines success.
I agree. What is your coffee order?
So I don't hardly ever drink coffee anymore, but when I do, iced caramel macchiato. Has to be iced. I don't like hot things because I am a very hot-natured person.
Yeah.
And I don't do well with hot things.
Okay. Good deal. What is your biggest fear?
Biggest fear.
Could be physical or
the only thing that comes to mind is tight spaces. And that goes like mentally and physically.
okay.
Feeling like you're trapped almost. Like
Yeah.
that's always been my biggest fear.
Yeah.
Trapped in situations, trapped in a small space. Yep. I
Being
don't do well.
stagnant.
Oh yeah.
I hate that.
I can't.
It's an anxiety.
Yeah.
Oh, it creeping in.
Yeah. Nope.
No,
See
ma'am.
ya.
There's a lot of chatter in the news lately about aliens and stuff. Do you believe in aliens?
I don't know. A part of me wants to, but then a part of me is like, I don't know. I feel like I lean more towards yes.
Okay.
Than no. But I need to see more.
Right.
I'm one of those where like you have to prove stuff
I know.
to me.
I agree.
Like
I need to see the evidence.
I need evidence.
Grainy videos on YouTube isn't enough for me.
And the thing is too, technology that we have nowadays, you don't know if it's real or if it's fake. So I'm just a very evidence-based person.
You got to see one in front of you to believe it.
I have to see.
I'd have to see it in a cage or something.
But the whole like conspiracy around it, I could see it.
Yeah.
But I still like am not going to fully believe it until I see it myself.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Oh, absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. 100%. I actually I maybe
have you experienced some stuff?
I definitely have.
I have as well.
I totally have. At my old house in Ackworth, crazy stuff happened all the time.
Really?
Oh yeah. So something funny about me that probably nobody knows because nobody sees me sleep except for Elliot.
Yeah.
Is I cover my ear when I sleep I cover both ears. So I usually sleep on my side. So I cover my ear.
Okay.
I do that because way back in the day, I had to have been super young because I really don't remember the age that I was. But all I remember is waking up in the middle of the night. I was feeling really uneasy and I went back to bed, and 5 seconds later, something was in my ear and went psst. And ever since then,
Oh my
I
God.
have been scarred, and I will not sleep without something covering my ear. It's the weirdest thing.
Goosebumps.
I know.
Oh
I know.
my God.
It's crazy.
We're moving.
Right?
Pack
I know.
it up.
Well, and then it's like a few years later, there's so many things that happened, but these were the two biggest. The last big thing that happened for me was it was right before high school. I was getting ready. My brother was in college, so I was the only one at home. Sitting at the kitchen table. I didn't have the TV on or anything. At my old house, there was a computer room right above the kitchen table.
Okay.
And every time someone stepped in that computer room, you knew because the floor squeaked.
Yeah.
And so I was sitting there eating breakfast one day, about to leave, and I hear the floor squeak up there. And I'm like, that's a little odd, but
no one's
whatever.
home.
Like,
Yeah.
things happen, like noises happen. This is where it gets creepy. Probably a minute later, I hear footsteps coming down the stairs, and I am not kidding you. I looked around to see what I could grab, and we had a wine rack behind us, or behind me, and I grabbed a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
And I was like, you can do this. You can do this. I like snuck around the corner because I literally thought
Someone was
there.
in the house. Yeah.
There was nobody on that
Oh my
staircase.
God.
Nobody on that staircase. So that was, I ran out of the house after that, and I was like, nope, can't do it. So crazy times.
Crazy times.
So I definitely believe they exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Yep.
And then the last question I have for you is, what's next for you?
Oh, what's next in life? I don't know. I just want to continue working on my business, working on me as a person, and building my relationship with Elliot and seeing where things go. So just enjoying life. I'm tired of focusing on the negative things and not the positive things, and staying in the moment. I feel like that kind of ties back to what we were talking about with all the phones and stuff earlier. It's like making sure that I'm present in that moment and making sure I'm enjoying all the times and experiences that I have instead of focusing so much on my phone or work. Like, I'm making those boundaries for myself. So it's just continuing to build myself.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Katie.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
This was so fun.
Yes.
Finally got to connect the dots.
Yes.
And now we know.
I know. It's crazy.
It is.
Crazy.
If there's anything you want to elevator pitch or anything to the people out there, or if you want to plug social media or anything like that, now's your chance to do so. If you don't want to do that.
I mean, if you guys want to follow me on my realtor page, it's Katie_Runyon. But yeah, if you ever need advice on real estate, not even if you're looking to buy or sell right at this time, just looking to see what it takes to get started to invest in a house or what it takes to sell a house, definitely reach out. Reaching out, I think some people get a little freaked out when they reach out to a realtor because it's like, oh gosh, now she wants me, now she wants my money, now she wants whatever. It's like, nope. I'm here to have a conversation. So any questions, you don't have to work with me in the future if you choose not to. That's okay. I mean, I hope you do. But if you don't, that's okay. If you just want to talk, work through options, I'm willing to do that. So anybody that needs me, I'm here.
Sounds great. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening to the conversation with Katie. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.